Drivers, start your engines then ahead of the new Avon Tyres Caterham 7 UK Championship season. This will be a 20-minute race, and this is going to be a very high-speed thrash indeed. Aaron Head, number 1 on pole, to remind you of the grid, alongside number 79 of Lewis Thompson. 77 Gordon Sawyer heads up row 2, alongside the number 3 of James Murphy. And completing the 6 who took part in the Super Pole one-lap shootout, number 18 Sean Byrne and 43 Stephen Lyle line up on row 3. On the 4th row of the grid, number 24 of Paul Donkin and 17 Mark Farmer, both in the amateur division. The Pro-Am and Am divisions are new for this year, based on your racing experience with Caterham, among other criteria. Mark Farmer, the ex-GT racer, as just mentioned, on row 4. Row 5, number 93 of Mike Evans, alongside the 99 of Tom Eden. On the 6th row, 66, which is Jake Swan, not to be confused with the classic touring car racer of the same name, and number 9, Matt Dyer. Row 7, number 4, Oliver Smith, and 61 of Angus McLean. Row 8, number 11, Carl Jones, and car number 2, Andy Lees, in the powder blue and orange, the Gulf colours. The penultimate row of the grid, 16 of Gary Lapidus, and number 64, Dale Head, and number 22 of Gary Curtis. Starts at the back of the field.
If you thought the action was fast and frantic up until this point, well, strap in. Here we go with the 420R machinery then. Remember, they've got uprated power. They're 185 horsepower, very experienced racers, and like I say, the field perfectly capable of winning this race from anywhere on the grid. And like, it's fantastic to see them out here, and you will hear the difference over the speakers as we go around the circuit in their 6-speed sequential boxed machines, really quick up and down, and a gruff sounding noise, really purposeful.
Yes, we've seen the drivers in the other categories start out in the Caterham Academy and upgrade their cars through the different ranks of the 4 steps on the Caterham ladder. These are full race cars.
These are a brand new car. Yes, you cannot upgrade to this championship. It is a brand new build. There's substantial differences under the hood, although, you know, from a casual observer on the outside, they do look rather similar. There's a lot more going on under the hood, including sort of bespoke Bilstein dampers. Also a little bit trickier to get away from the line, these cars, and again, the experience will probably play that out okay, but as we see wheels spinning off the line away from the lights there, Lewis Thompson showing that there's not a lot of grip in these slick tyres when they haven't got the temperature in them.
So they start to weave to warm their Avon slick tyres up for this first race of the season. The lap record has stood since 2021. William Smith with a 1 minute 45.480. So we'll see if that can be broken in this race. I reckon they're in with a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. There's it was 21. We were with the British GT grid, and it was a bit drizzly all through that weekend, so we never really got to fully explore the limits of these slick tyres. So we should see them at least matching that, if not trying to better it very slightly.
They head round through Cascades then, getting their tyres warmed up on what's quite a long green flag lap.
It's certainly easier to warm up your tyres on a track like Oulton Park, where you go on a nice journey, long journey around 5 kilometres, 3 miles around this international circuit. But yeah, they will have to work, especially towards the end of the lap, just to make sure that everything is there. They want to be careful not to run onto the dust as well. There's a hot slick tyre will pick up dust and affect performance as Donkin goes up right onto that shallow. As again, I wouldn't necessarily want to be up there, but he's chosen to do that. And we see Mike Evans as well coming through, another driver who's often moves up through the field as the race progresses.
It was Joe Winkelhock, the ex-British touring car champion, who said that the shallows helped and reminded him of the carousel at the Nürburgring in Germany.
Yeah, as a driver, you carry significant speed into there, knowing that the bank will catch you. There is a limit to that, and hopefully you won't see anyone exceed that limit. But it's a really nice, inviting corner as they head around.
Okay, just to run you through the colours of some of the leading cars on the grid. Aaron Head is the black car with the bright red roll cage. Number 79, Lewis Thompson, is in the mainly British racing green. Number 79, Gordon Sawyer. Number 77 is yellow and black. Number 3, James Murphy, a black car with an orange roll cage. Sean Byrne, number 18, is in green and black, the Caterham corporate colours. And number 43, Stephen Lyle, the red, white and black liveried machine. Paul Donkin is in red and white. Number 24, Mark Farmer, number 17, red with a royal blue roll cage. And completing the top 10, Mike Evans, number 93, his is a grey car with a red roll cage. 99, Tom Eden, is in yellow and black. Mentioned a couple of features of the other cars. We've got the Gulf liveried car. It seems to be protocol that there has to be at least one Gulf liveried car at every meeting in the UK. Andy Lees, number 2, is driving in on this occasion. So the cars are coming up to the grid then for what is going to be an absolutely frantic 20-minute race to open the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK in these 420R spec machines. 420 meaning the power to weight ratio, bhp per tonne of these cars. There's the number 22 of Gary Curtis, the black car at the back of the field there.
Yep, the Monaco resident coming into line up at the rear of this field. He's been in Caterhams for a while and he's enjoying the challenge of this new machinery this year.
Last couple of cars just pulling into line at the back of this 19-car grid then for the first race of the season for the fastest cars we have today here at Oulton Park. The Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK for 2023. The green flag is waved at the back of the field. The 5-second board is held aloft. Aaron Head and Lewis Thompson on the front row of the grid. The red lights are on. The revs begin to rise and away we go. Down towards Old Hall they thrash for the first time. It is side by side between the two front row men. Trying to move up on the outside is James Murphy, but it's absolutely together for the lead. I think Lewis Thompson maybe just had the edge as they headed into Old Hall. Paul Donkin running wide over the curb there, but it is Lewis Thompson, number 79, the man from Parbold, who leads the way down towards Cascades for the first time. And it looks as though the poleman Aaron Head has held that second place. James Murphy is in third. Gordon Sawyer is in fourth place, and up to fifth. The good starts by the man from sixth on the grid, Stephen Lyle, as they head towards Island Bend for the first time. Aaron Head dodging about in the wake of the race leader there. Everybody is round the first corner cleanly, that's the main thing. As Aaron Head has a look on the outside heading into the Shell Oil's hairpin. James Murphy keeping in touch in third as they frantically thrash their way towards the back end of the circuit for the first time. It is Lewis Thompson who has the lead. Yep,
the young charger just got slightly better traction off that line, and Aaron Head had to give way as they went off down the hill. Gordon Sawyer there bouncing over that curb in his black and yellow machinery as they head over the top of Hilltop, down now into the Knickerbrook chicane, and it's Lewis Thompson who does head Aaron Head, and he is in front of James Murphy, Gordon Sawyer, and then we've got Lyle. Remember, we talked about him being a kart racer, and he's got all the skills here but not so much experience of the drivers around him, and someone who has got the experience is Sean Byrne, just following around as we see the tail end of the field coming around out through and up onto Clay Hill.
There's that Golf livery car number 2, Andy Lees, just ahead of the car. You can see there the eyes on the rear panel. That's Gary Lapidus, the Londoner, as the leaders head out through Druids and up towards the bridge, then through to Lodge, and it is still Lewis Thompson, number 79, the British Racing Green car, who leads the way. Coming up on the outside is Aaron Head, the king of Caterhams in the UK over the last few years. His first title came back in 2014. Third place behind them is James Murphy. They are line astern, up over the line. Gordon Sawyer in the yellow car hanging on in their wake. Those four have broken away slightly from Stephen Lyle in fifth, under fire from Byrne in the number 18. Sean Byrne had a look there, couldn't quite get up the inside. They bounced wide over the curves. As we said earlier, you don't want to do that too often, else you could trigger the track limit sensor, and too many violations you'll get a penalty. But it's all close, bunched up behind Lewis Thompson here as they head through Cascades for the second time. The first four breaking away just very slightly.
Interesting, Lewis Thompson deciding that he is going to defend really early and hard in this. He's moving to the inside at all the opportunities to prevent this field from getting past. He's not willing to work with Aaron Head at this early stage of the race, and Aaron Head will certainly be looking at that, but he's still sitting in that second place. James Murphy holds on to that third. Gordon Sawyer, then it's Stephen Lyle, and Byrne and Evans has made some great progress up into seventh place there. We said he moves forward in the race, and it looks like that's happened.
There is Paul Donkin a little bit further back. He's on the tail of the number 99 of Tom Eden a little further back in the order. That's the battle for ninth place. They are heading through the Britain chicane. Tom Eden leading the amateur class at the moment, the AM division. They're in the background there of this big group at the front of the field. Jake Swan going well at the back of this group of 8 for the lead. Thompson still heads head out of the Knickerbrook chicane. There's the fight for the AM category. Keep an eye on that as well. Paul Donkin, experienced racer in a variety of sports and saloon cars, on the tail of Tom Eden.
Yeah, Jake Swan, third place in last year's championship, and he's just about clinging on to this front group. And again, another driver we regularly see moving back through the field. Really good racecraft to make his and carve his way back through. But an experienced racer, and like I say, third place last year. But we still see Lewis Thompson heading Aaron Head. James Murphy now having to defend from his teammate Gordon Sawyer as they head around Lodge. And Eden still heads Donkin as they go up and over the line for another lap.
There's 2 laps completed then. Aaron Head moving to the outside as they head down into Old Hall. James Murphy still holding third. Stephen Lyle shadowing Gordon Sawyer for fourth position. This is a great battle going on for the lead of the AM division. They come over the line in 9th and 10th place. Mark Farmer's third in that division. He's just lost a place overall to Matt Dyer in the number 9, who has got through, but still no change for the lead as they head up towards Island Bend for the third time. Thompson has done the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.631, so still a second, just over a second outside William Smith's lap record from 2021 as they get fully dialed in. There's a change for the lead. They're heading through towards Shell Oil's hairpin. Aaron Head takes over.
Yeah, and these were two absolutely. They've got a little bit of a gap, haven't they, over there's Murphy and Sawyer there. They were a thousandth of a second apart in qualifying, and it looks like that battle is going to continue. But I'd say Thompson was absolutely defending those corners as hard as he could. Aaron Head has made his way through into Shell Oils, but it's now side by side as they come down the hill. A little bit of a jink there to try and sort of off-put Aaron. Aaron's too experienced for that, but he's locked up the rear of the tyres, managed to get it all back under control. But Lewis Thompson did make it back out into the lead of that battle then, so as Aaron Head has to sit into that second place, just a little bit of a rear lock up there, maybe needs to move the brake bias just a touch forward.
That was a cheeky bit of driving by Lewis Thompson there. He moved across on Aaron Head there. They were wheel to wheel, Senna and Mansell style down the straight, and that unsettled Aaron. That's exactly what Lewis Thompson was trying to do, and he was able to move through as Head locked up a little going into Knickerbrook. Third, it's James Murphy still trying to close up, the former road sports champion, and Gordon Sawyer making it almost 4 square at the front of the field. It's still Stephen Lyle in the red, white and black car in 5th position, the almost Haas F1 lookalike livery. Somebody running wide there over the curb on the outside. We'll see who that was as they come across the line this time. That
Mike
was
Evans.
Yes, it was Mike Evans in 7th place, number 93, as Thompson holds the lead. Coming through Old Hall, Gordon Sawyer could try and make a move for third here. There's the Stephen Lyle car in 5th position. Byrne still 6th. Evans still there in 7th despite running wide out of Lodge. As
this battle though intensifies up front, you can see how the trailing cars that were a little bit distant are straight back in the action, and they'll be picking up that toe nice and strong as we head up here into Island Bend then. A daunting left-hander where they're taking that at around 107 miles an hour in these 420R machines. So there's an awful lot of speed being carried into the Shell Oils. It is still Thompson ahead of Aaron Head, who's now going to have to look in his mirrors a little bit more because James Murphy is right there with Gordon Sawyer, Lyle, and then Sean Byrne has joined in for the fun as well.
Loss of momentum for Mike Evans has cost him a place because Jake Swan has got through into 7th, the white car with the blue cage a little further back, and Gordon Sawyer out of shape there coming into Britain's, I think, and he's lost a place. Certainly Lyle has got through. Jake Swan's now got ahead of Sean Byrne as well, so, and Evans has got through, so Sean Byrne got out of the toe there a little as well, so it's all chop and change for 4th position down to 8th.
Yeah, just saw Gordon Sawyer lose the rear end of that car just a touch there, and now Jake Swan, who said is strong in these races, is starting to make his move through along with Mike Evans, and Sean Byrne just dropped away a little bit, but the battle for the lead is absolutely as it was with the top 3 now. It's Thompson up the inside of Druids. There's not a lot of space there. Aaron Head on the outside, has he got enough room just with now Murphy just looking on. He's going to be licking his chops and seeing whether he's got anything to do. He's going to have a look up the inside into the final corner there, Lodge. He's got it done late on the brakes there, managed to get it all hauled up, and he is now into 2nd place over his teammate ahead of Aaron Head.
Yeah, just held it there through the exit of Lodge. That's a good bit of driving by the number 3 of James Murphy, the Londoner, now giving chase to Lewis Thompson, and Murphy's done the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.102, still a few tenths outside the lap record. I think we'll double check that. No, he's gone inside, so a new lap record for Murphy. 1:45.4 was William Smith's record from 2021, so the number 3 of James Murphy has broken the lap record for the Caterham 7 UK Championship.
Sawyer's been shuffled back as we were talking there. He's now behind Sean Byrne. It looked like Sean Byrne was about to go past him up the inside of Cascades. You can see them side by side here. So he has lost out in the middle phase of this race so far, and he was in that podium paying position a little while back, so he'll want to make a move back through. Stephen Lyle in a great 4th place in his first time out in this car. There he is, the Sawyer car just behind the Sean Byrne car.
They make their way up over Hilltop. There's the lead battle in the AM division as well. It's Paul Donkin that's taken over there from Tom Eden. Third in that group is Mark Farmer, trying to fight back after losing a couple of spots earlier on. Here come your leaders: Thompson, Murphy, Head, then it's Lyle, Swan up into 5th position, 6th is Evans, then Byrne and Sawyer battling it out, and there's the lead battle in the AM division, and they're keeping up with the Pro-Am cars as well. Paul Donkin and Tom Eden, despite that off in qualifying, rounding out the top 10 of Avon. The next group coming through is headed by Mark Farmer, and he's got, I think that's the 61 of Angus McLean on his tail. Then the number 11 of Carl Jones and the number 2 of Andy Leeds.
Yep, these battles going all the way through. There's also Dale Head, followed by Matt Dyer back into the race, and we saw the Gary Lapidus there as well going off up the hill. There is Angus McLean in that blue machinery just around the outside of Mark Farmer, the GT racer there. So great battles all the way through this field. Matt Dyer has also lost his front, was losing his front left wing there, is flapping around a little bit. That's going to affect him a bit, maybe a bit distraction, but it's Thompson up the inside again into the lead of the race.
Looked as though Murphy was going to try and take the lead there into Old Hall, but he didn't manage to make it stick. We're coming up towards half distance. This race flying by. New fastest lap for Jake Swan in 5th place, 1:44.337, a new lap record as well for Jake Swan. He's in 5th position, looking to challenge Stephen Lyle for 4th place. You can see them there just a few lengths behind the leaders. Next is Mike Evans, then Byrne, Sawyer, Donkin and Eden. Your top 10 together. They're covered by 5.5 seconds last time through, just over. The 3 leaders were covered by less than 0.3 of a second up the line, and trying to fight his way back up into the top 2 is Aaron Head behind James Murphy. It's still Lewis Thompson bouncing over the curb at Britain's. Lyle and Swan trying to close up and make it a 5-way battle for the lead here in a classic Caterham slipstreamer here at Oulton Park in this season opener for the Avon Tyres Caterham Championship UK. Into Knickerbrook they go. Here's the battle for 7th place. Byrne and Sawyer. Gordon Sawyer after a slight mistake earlier on. You can see that's the margin for error. He just had that couple of small slides and he's gone from 3rd to 8th.
You saw him even there, good illustration. The rear of his car is not connected to the tarmac at the moment. He's sliding around a little bit. They have a new allocation of slick tyres per race round, so they will have to use these tyres for the rest of today in this racing. Perfect conditions out there for track. It's cool air. Sun is just tucked away, so the track isn't burning the tyres up, and they are making the most of it with Murphy looking to the outside of Thompson, but now it's going to be Aaron Head's going to make that move up the inside of Murphy as he went to attack. He's now going to have to switch to defence. He's got the toe, so he has dragged himself back through, but that's why we're seeing these lap records falling, because the conditions out there are absolutely perfect. Murphy now in that 2nd place, Aaron Head having to stick with that 3rd place.
Jake Swan, another lap record, 1:44.054. He's on the tail of this group. You can see the 99 car there has dropped back just a little. That's Tom Eden. He's dropped back into 2nd place behind Paul Donkin in the AM division. 5 cars now line astern for the lead. Stephen Lyle in the 43 is towing up onto the back of the top 3. There was less than a second covering the top 4 last time through, just over a second the top 5, because Jake Swan is there, and that's the car to watch. I would think the white car with the blue roll cages up the inside. Here comes James Murphy trying for the lead of the race into Shell Oils. That's a brave move there, side by side on the exit. This is going to be interesting into Britain's. You can't really get 2 Caterham side by side through there, and Lewis Thompson does hold his lead, survives around the outside. Head still in 3rd place, then Lyle and Swan. This is allowing Mike Evans to tow up on the back. We could see 6 cars line astern short.
Watch Aaron Head down into this corner. He had a head of steam over Murphy, and indeed he does pull to the inside as they're heading down. Murphy showed he was late on the brakes last time, but Aaron Head equally has got that rear of the car back under control, moves back into that 2nd place just ahead of Lyle. So Murphy has now got to deal with Lyle and then Swan, who is making great progress through Mike Evans and the rest of this pack. Then it's now Donkin right on the tail of Gordon Sawyer, who's still having a fight with Sean Byrne there.
There's Paul Donkin still leading the AM class in the DPR motorsport car run by David Rowe, trying to close up on the Pro-Am runners ahead of him. He's on the tail of Gordon Sawyer now, and Sean Byrne in the number 18 in the Caterham Works green and grey livery. Here's the battle for the lead, side by side. Thompson and Head are together. Murphy still in 3rd place, just over 7.5 minutes of this cracking race to go. Stephen Lyle is now right with the leaders in that 4th place, and Swan could be in to make a move as well. Let's see the lap times as they cross the line down towards Old Hall. No new lap records that time through, but it's still Lewis Thompson who just about holds his lead.
Lyle having to defend there, and actually giving Jake Swan a little bit of a run there on him, but it's still Thompson, DW Motorsport team. Thompson alongside DPR Motorsport. Aaron Head, DPR Motorsport is for James Murphy as well, and then we've got RS Motorsport up in there as well. So plenty of teams also in this lead battle. Everything as even as possible. There's 3 wide potentially down into Ireland. That definitely won't work, and they do sort it out before they turn left into Ireland.
I thought Murphy was going to get onto the grass there on the inside on the run towards Island Bend. It's now Aaron Head who's gone through into the lead while that was going on. He got alongside Lewis Thompson, made the move out of Ireland towards the Shell hairpin, and he has now got the lead. The king of Caterhams in the UK is where he wants to be, at the front and up the inside into Britain's. Ooh, over the curb there. That was nearly contact, but Jake Swan somehow has squeezed his car through ahead of Stephen Lyle in a 4th.
He was pushing for 3rd place just as we went into or around Island Bend. He's having to defend really hard against Lyle as they come down the hill. Aaron Head up the inside of of Thompson, and it's now Murphy looking on, but Aaron Head does make push his car into the lead again. Remember, we're coming down now to the last 6 minutes of this race, and any of these drivers can take their win.
Yes, Mike Evans is hanging on for dear life at the tail of this group as well, behind Stephen Lyle, who's down to 5th. The next group is headed by Byrne, ahead of Sawyer. They've got Paul Donkin behind them. He's leading the AM division as Lewis Thompson back up the inside into Druids retakes the lead from Aaron Head. It's a brilliant duel between these two. It's the reigning king and the young pretender fighting it out at the front there, side by side. Head trying for the outside. Surely he's not going to get round there. Yes, he is. Round the outside at Lodge. Has he held that together? Yes, he's got it. Oh, brilliant bit of driving by Aaron Head, showing just why he is a 3-time Caterham British champion. As up the outside again comes Lewis Thompson down into Old Hawthorne. It's 3 wide behind. They squeeze together there. Swan side by side with Lyle. Evans in there too. James Murphy just about hanging on ahead of him. This is amazing. 6 of them together now down towards Cascades. Lewis Thompson squeezes Aaron Head out wide as they go into the left-hander. James Murphy's there on the inside, and still any one of these 6 could win it.
Absolutely, there's a quartet of drivers, one on top of each other as they went through, as we're looking at the little trailing battle. And there's Matt Dyer there, we're still with the wagging front tail, but just ahead of Mark Farmer. But the leaders coming through Ireland then, and it is Aaron Head who heads this pack over Thompson. Murphy holding back somehow this quartet of drivers, including Swan. Then we've got Lyle in there, and it's absolutely brilliant racing. And it's really coming down to crunch point now as to where do you want to be in this thing. Lewis Thompson is not willing to sit in second place. He is absolutely going for it. There's no working together here. He is absolutely elbows out racing.
Byrne and Sawyer, of course, back up with this train of 6 as well now as Lewis Thompson goes to the outside. So does Jake Swan down into Knickerbrook. They don't quite manage to get through. James Murphy holds 3rd. Aaron Head holds the lead. There's Swan in 4th place. Lyle 5th. Evans 6th. 7th place through is Sean Byrne. He's been able to close back up. There's Gordon Sawyer, and Paul Donkin's going to make it 9. He's dropped Tom Eden. The gap between them is now exactly 6 seconds as Lewis Thompson goes to the inside into Druids. Can't quite make it stick. Aaron Head is back in the lead. I'm struggling to keep up with this. He
was trying to go up the inside over the grass as they went over Clay Hill and into Druids, but he's come to the outside now. He's looking for any opportunity he can to really fluster Aaron Head. Aaron Head's obviously he's got a very experienced head on his shoulders. They all drift a little bit wide there. Got to be careful. Another track sensor out there, so we'll keep an eye out for any penalties. But this racing is absolutely spectacular with Thompson going for the outside line around turn 1, but Aaron Head late on the brakes, keeps it in there. They're holding his foot in, manages to take the lead around the outside once more. What a spectacular move.
That was magnificent from Lewis Thompson. This is Caterham racing, some of the best I have ever seen it. James Murphy is up there in 3rd behind them as well. Then it's Swan. There was 0.6 of a second covering the first 5 over the line, and another 0.8 covered the next 3. Less than 2 seconds covers the first 8 cars at the moment. Lewis Thompson still side by side with Aaron Head as they head up towards Ireland. He's gone round the outside again. He'll have the inside for the Shell Oils hairpin. Aaron Head will surely retake the lead here on the inside. He's done it. 3rd place is still James Murphy. Then it's Jake Swan. Stephen Lyle in 5th position. And it's 9 cars now. Line astern for the lead, including our AM class leader, Paul Donkin, at the back of this train. They bounce over the curb. Aaron Head back into the lead.
Yeah, Mike Evans up into 6th place then from 9th on the grid, and Swan also coming through. So, like I say, some of these drivers do have a tendency to come back through. Swan looking to the outside as well as Thompson down the inside. He's squirrely. Is he going to get it stopped in time? Just about, but they're going to bunch the whole pack up as Head holds on round the right-hander.
That was too close for comfort there through Knickerbrook. I thought they were going to touch, but somehow they avoided each other. That was a brave move by Lewis Thompson. He's going to try again as they come up towards Druids through the left-hander on Clay Hill, up towards Druids, and Lewis Thompson not close enough. Aaron Head has the lead. Murphy under intense pressure from Jake Swan now. Then it's Lyle, Evans, Byrne, Sawyer and Donkin. Still no change in the order at the back of this crocodile as Lewis Thompson goes to the outside now into Lodge. He's trying to play Aaron Head at his own game there. I don't think he'll get round there. Side by side, here comes Mike Evans. A little bit of lock-up. He's run wide there a couple of times already. Side by side with Stephen Lyle. Up over the line. Just over 2 minutes of this race to go. So we'll get 2 more laps out of this. Look at Murphy to the inside here. He won't get close enough there to Thompson and Head. They've been side by side for virtually the whole lap.
Murphy's had a really complicated race in that 3rd place. He's having to defend for most of it, and I think he's probably thinking the easier job would be to try and get back ahead of Aaron Head, who's losing the grip of those tyres just slightly as we head into the later stage of this race. Like you say, I think we're on the penultimate lap right now as they head on down and into Ireland. Then it's still Thompson out front of Head. Murphy still in that 3rd place. Swan absolutely not giving him any relaxing time in 4th.
Yes, they maybe one or two of them have pushed a little bit too hard in the early stages. We don't want to see those Avon tyres going off and breaking this battle apart. They're still line astern, all 9 of them together there. Well, barring any disaster, Paul Donkin has got the AM category victory sewn up. He's nearly 9 seconds ahead of his nearest rival, Tom Eden. There he is at the back of the group, the red and white number 24 over Hilltop. They head there side by side once again. Head on the outside. Thompson will have the inside. Jake Swan trying to make a move for third place as well. Murphy locks it up a little. Just about gets the car stopped in that third place. Lewis Thompson has the lead as they head up towards, and somebody slowing there. That's the number 1. Aaron Head's in trouble. Head slows up there, and that's suddenly Constantine and everybody else up behind. What's going to come out of this? Because Aaron Head suddenly slowed there, and that's left Lewis Thompson out on his own.
Yeah, Lewis Thompson got a gap. We've seen them hammering the curbs, and it can be there's attritional. He certainly maybe lost a drive shaft. It's hard to say at this point, but that's certainly what it looked like from where I was sat. Everyone having to jink around him, but what a disappointing end. A bit of contact you can see at the rear with his wing there, but it looks like they've one of people a damage from the curb. As we now got Lewis Thompson, that's James Murphy out wide. Is he going to be able to come across back? He's hit Gordon Sawyer. He's going to hit the end of the pit wall. Unfortunate accident there. Gordon getting caught up in someone else's accident just on the grass there.
Well, it's all broken apart then. It is Lewis Thompson who leads. Jake Swan up in a second. We hope Gordon Sawyer is okay there. James Murphy just slid out wide onto the grass, and as he spun back in, Gordon was at the wrong place at the wrong moments and was collected. So it's Jake Swan up into second, Stephen Lyle in third. We're on the last lap now. Fourth is now Sean Byrne, and in fifth position it's Mike Evans. That all started when Aaron Head slowed coming out of Nicker Brook. Whatever problem he had, we don't know, but that just Constantine and everybody else up as they slowed to avoid him, and that's what caused that confusion for the rest of the lap.
That's right, they were all bunched as they headed out through Druids and into that final corner, and then James Murphy got squeezed onto the grass, and we've had wet weather, so slick tyres on that grass, and it just wasn't able to hold onto the car, and then Gordon saw an unfortunate spectator in that and taken out of the race because of it. As the rest of the race, though, is now moves Mike Evans last. We saw him up into fourth, but I think he lost out to Byrne, so they're going to have a battle for this final position on the podium. Lyle currently sitting in that third place. Lewis Thompson got a bit of a comfortable gap just ahead of Jake Swan in second place.
Yes, it's looking good for Lewis Thompson there. The main battle now is for fourth place between Byrne and Evans. I think James Murphy was able to keep going after that. He came across the line in sixth place. We'll wait to see if he's still there as the cars cross the line. It's looking good for number 79, Lewis Thompson. Jake Swan inheriting second, and they could catch Stephen Lyle here for the final podium position. Up towards Lodge they come. The checkered flag will be awaiting them this time as they swing their way through Lodge for the final time in this Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK season opener. A shame we lost a couple of cars in the closing stages there, but Lewis Thompson comes through to take the first win of the season. Jake Swan comes over in second, and the battle for third goes to the line. Lyle gets there ahead of Byrne, and Evans. Sixth place goes to Paul Donkin. He wins the AM category. We'll wait to see if James Murphy does make it home. Yes, there he is. He comes in 8th place behind Tom Eden. You can see damage to the right front of that car. The front wheel at a very drunken angle. He did very well to finish there. 9th goes to Angus McLean, and Mark Farmer rounds out the top 10. But a bit of an unfortunate end there with a couple of moments, but a great drive by Lewis Thompson.
Oh, absolutely spectacular racing, and never like to see an accident, but a packed race meeting today, so actually we've got a lot of racing action. They've got some of the teams there having to do a bit of work to get those cars back and up, and so you can see James Murphy's going to have a bit of work done on that front right, and not too long before their next race, so you can see he's punctured that tyre and maybe also got a bit of suspension damage to look at rectifying. But nevertheless, up until the right at the end of that race, absolutely spectacular racing by the top flight of the Caterham Motorsport season. Bit of a replay here, so you can see James Murphy's out wide, lost the rear of the car, gets onto the AstroTurf, which doesn't offer up that much grip. He then gets onto the grass. He's trying to hold that slide, but unfortunately the rear of the car just steps across. Gordon, you can see that Gordon's trying to avoid it, but there's nothing he can do, and a nasty looking accident, and hopefully Gordon will be back out there in that race. You can see him coming to a stop, just nudging that barrier as well, so a really uncomfortable looking accident there, but hopefully all those drivers will be back out for the race this afternoon.
Yeah, we hope Gordon Sawyer's okay there. That was quite a wallop he took there as James Murphy came sliding back on, and James did very well indeed to finish the race as well. So the provisional results reads like this: a win for Lewis Thompson by 1.4 seconds in the end over Jake Swan in second. Stephen Lyle just taking the final podium place, a couple of tenths of a second ahead of Sean Byrne, and a similar margin further back was Mike Evans in fifth. Sixth goes to Paul Donkin, did well to avoid the incident there at Deer Leap, and he wins the AM class ahead of Tom Eden. 8th place for Sean Murphy's battered car. 9th going to Angus McLean, third of the AM category, and Mark Farmer rounding out the top 10. 11th behind them was Carl Jones, and 12th for Daniel Head, upholding family honour after Aaron's retirement. 13th place went to the number 4 car of Ollie Smith. 14th was Gary Lapidus, the number 16, and completing the top 15 was the number 9 of Matt Dyer. The other finishers in the end were Andy Lees, the 22 of Gary Curtis, and of course we lost Aaron Head and Gordon Sawyer. But if their cars can be repaired, they'll be coming through from the back of the grid for race 2, and that's going to make things very interesting indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a little bit of a time now. We've got a lunch break to get that sorted, and I know the teams down at that's Aaron Head and Murphy and Sawyer all down at DPR Motorsport, so they've got a bit of work to do over their lunch break. But other than that, the racing was spectacular to watch, and I'm really looking forward to 2 more of those races to go this afternoon, alongside everything else, including the road sports, which we haven't seen yet, but will be next up after our lunch break.
Yep, that's coming up at about 1:15. We can now head down to Parc Fermé with Sam to hear from some of the drivers in our Avon Tyres Caterham 7 UK Championship.
Right, that was a very exciting race. Well done on P1. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was really difficult, that race. Aaron and James were just giving me a battle the whole race. I knew I had the pace at the front, but towards the end, tyres started going off, and then I don't know what happened to Aaron. He must have had a problem with something because he just disappeared. But yeah, made up. Just big thanks to the team. Big thanks to everyone for coming down. It's great to be at the local and have so many people come down to watch. And shout out to Polino because happy birthday.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, congratulations. 2 more races today, so hopefully more of the same for you.
Yeah, definitely we're going for the same. I don't see Aaron or James anywhere, so should be able to continue where we left off.
All right, well, thank you. Well done. Congratulations. I'll move on to Jake now. Jake,
Andy?
lovely new pearlescent white on your car.
White, but, you know.
Yeah, very nice. Bit different. Congratulations on second of the pros in the 7 UK cars. How was? I wasn't. Suddenly you were right up there, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a terrible quali, really. We qualied 11th, so we'll ignore that. That's forgotten about already. And yeah, just sort of stuck with it. Sort of found a bit of a groove, and then slowly picked them off. And yeah, no, it was hard, but it was really, really good. And then to be second, I was like, hang on a minute, we're second. Oh, right, crack on. But yeah, no, it was really, really good. And I think we got fastest lap there over here as well, so I'm taking that as well.
It was last time I looked, yes, that's great, well done.
Yeah, no, it's much needed, so I'll take the point.
Hopefully more of the same then this afternoon.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right, I'll move on to Stephen Lyle. Where's he gone? Here he is, he's over here. Steve, can I have a quick word with you? Congratulations on 3rd place.
Thank you.
Good to see you back in the championship.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long winter. So, we're chuffed with that. We said top 5, keep getting some top 5s and finish, because it's all a one-day event. You damage your car today, that's it, you're going home, you're missing 2 already. So we worked on top 5, top 3 is a bonus. Especially with the front guys, all had issues. So the championship contenders, apart from Lewis, they're all had a problem. So we'll see. A long way to go from here.
Oh, well, it's a good start to the season for you.
It is. We'll take that.
All right, congratulations. Thank you, Steve. Right, I think we'll head back to the studio now. Thank you very much.